How can you respond to students in a way that spurs them to action? In this video, we'll look at the Global Online Academy Catalyst card, Teacher to Student Feedback. We'll talk about strategies for leveraging feedback in online or blended learning contexts, and we'll look at an example from GOA's course, Poetry Writing. Feedback is the nourishment that sustains a student's engagement with the learning process. Students need feedback from teachers and peers in order to understand how they're doing, what they're doing well, and what they could be doing better. There are a few advantages to leveraging feedback in an online or blended learning context. In the online learning environment, work that is published is always accessible and easily edited. It's easy to give feedback in a regular, digestible, and action-oriented way, and doing it online creates an archive that students and teachers can always return to. In addition, leveraging online learning spaces for feedback allows for transparent and communal learning. In other words, it's just as easy to deliver feedback to the group as it is to an individual. And erring on the side of transparency allows students to benefit from a high volume of feedback in addition to have access to models of what really good feedback looks like. Let's look at an example from GOA's Poetry Writing course. In this writing workshop, the teacher decided to leverage the online learning space for transparency and communal learning, and decided to leverage it to give feedback in multiple different ways. Every week, the teacher archived his feedback for students on a single page published in his course. No grades were shared, but otherwise all of his commentary on the work was shared. He did this for two reasons. One, he felt that all of his students would benefit from looking at the feedback he gave to his other peers. They might find something in feedback for someone else that they would find useful. In addition, he wanted to create a robust forum for peer-to-peer feedback, and he wanted to use his feedback as models for other students. So every week he created a page, notes and video on certain poems. You can see here that he begins with a video. In this video, he walks students through a tour of poems that he found particularly striking from the week. He calls out specific students for good work and shows students via video what parts of the poem really spoke to him. What this does is it allows students both to see models, but also benefit from that positive reinforcement of public recognition. Online learning spaces really do support this kind of public acknowledgement of work. Below that, the teacher includes all of his written comments for his students. You can see here that he identifies each student by name and communicates his commentary in a way that he feels they'll benefit from. Over time, he's accumulating weeks and weeks of really useful, quality feedback that his students can revisit and learn from, both in terms of their own writing, but also in how they give each other feedback in workshop sessions later in the course. Teacher-to-student feedback is oftentimes the biggest challenge of teaching. How do we manage it? How do we keep control of it? By leveraging the online learning environment for transparency, collaboration, and visible learning, you can actually make feedback more effective and more manageable.